Hello class, welcome to Crash Course 2.0. Today we'll be discussing if Bushido played a factor in Truman's decision to use the bomb, and if Truman's decision to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were justified.
First, let's get some background information on Bushido. Bushido are a set of moral codes for Japanese fighters. It is an extremely harsh set of conducts, but it's created ferocious fighters. Bushido surprised many of American soldiers because they were not informed about Japanese culture. Bushido created a very harsh, savage war between the US and Japan in the Pacific. Some techniques used in the Pacific were kamikazes. This was an extremely unusual way of fighting because Japanese soldiers would just be suicide bombers. Ultimately, yes, Bushido did play a factor in Truman's decision to use the bomb. The grit of the Japanese soldiers and their unwillingness to surrender led to the US using the A-bomb. Bushido played such an influence that Japan would not surrender unconditionally. The war became so barbaric due to Bushido, Truman said,
"When you have to deal with a beast, you have to treat them like a beast."
On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb named Little Boy on Hiroshima, Japan. 3 days later, on August 9th, the U.S. dropped another atomic bomb named Fat Man on Nagasaki, Japan.
Let's move on to Truman's justification for dropping the atomic bombs. The core reasons behind dropping the two bombs were because the atomic bombs would shorten the war and possibly save lives. The atomic bombs most definitely saved American lives, but quite possibly saved Japanese lives for more gruesome wars or an invasion. An article in favor of dropping the bomb, written by Henry Stimson, estimated that an invasion of Japan would cost an additional 500,000 American casualties.
Furthermore, Truman believed that the atomic bomb was meant to be used. He wrote in his memoirs,
"I regarded the bomb as a military weapon and never had any doubt that it should be used. The top military advisors to the president recommended its use, and when I talked to Churchill, he unhesitatingly told me that he favored the use of the atom bomb if it might aid to end the war."
Truman had other reasons to use the atomic bombs. Truman was reluctant to fight the Soviets to invade Japan. Japan was not willing to surrender unconditionally, and certain Americans wanted revenge for the bombing of Pearl Harbor. However, others argued that conventional bombing, blockading, or even invasion would have been sufficient to end the war. These alternatives might have eventually led to surrender, but they would result in a longer war which would lead to more casualties for both America and Japan.
Although our questions are widely debated topics, with different points of view through our research, we found that Bushido did play a role in Truman's decision, and Truman's choice of dropping the bombs were justified.